In this video, we'll be reviewing the Goldenity AI Expert Advisor by Ms. Zuzana Slawinska. Stick around to the end to see if this is a real EA worth your time or just another MQL5 scam. This video is sponsored by Prosperity Algo and our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Do you want to make 100+% annual returns through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout? Then click the link in the description. So the sales page here caught my attention as it's a very in-depth explanation of how this bot works. And it does appear that this developer does understand trading and does at least know some commonly used concepts. So there is a big focus on AI and neural networks here, and they could very well have a neural net embedded in the bot, but it's also good to kind of look more in detail on the actual trading strategy behind it, as that will probably kind of tell us about the actual decisions which the bot is making. And here it's saying that it also uses a sophisticated blend of price action along with the AI-driven market analysis. And specifically, the strategy mentioned is by monitoring swing highs and lows on the H1 timeframe, and then looking for smaller movements on the M15 and broader trends on the H4. So this also makes a lot of sense. Essentially, they're defining levels on a higher time frame, and they're looking more for confirmation on a lower time frame, which I have found to be a pretty good approach for trading gold. So the actual price action concepts which she's mentioning do make sense and are commonly used in trading the gold markets. And they're also mentioning a few different more fundamental drivers like Asian session breakouts, European Open, New York Open, trend continuations and breakouts, all of which you can build strategies around. So not quite sure how this bot works to date, but at least the dev team does appear to be aware of quite a few common gold trading strategies, which is always a good sign. And it's always good when they tell us a bit about more the price action concepts which may underlie the bot. And here we can see that there's actually two different bot trading or two different trading modes. You can trade with more like a non-martingale standard mode, and they also have more of a higher risk martingale mode. And this is also very logical, as depending on your risk preferences or if you're trading more of a prop firm based approach versus a personal account, you may want to use more of a hedging method versus more of a standard stop loss take profit method. So it's good when developers offer a few different options for customers. And this does trade gold, as the name would likely suggest, and the main time frame is the H1, and this is what you should run gold on. And if we quickly pop through these photos here, we can see that it does look like a pretty decent back test, and we're seeing here a very high win rate at 84%, with a slightly negative risk reward or slightly inverted risk reward, but that's what we would expect to see. So the win rate is so good relative to the inverted risk reward that it's maybe a little bit too good to be true. However, at least it's good that we are seeing an inverted risk reward with a super high win rate. If both are fantastic, usually the alarm bell should kind of get going. And yeah, we can now pop over here to the live signal page. And we can see that it's only been launched kind of right after Christmas. So logically speaking, there hasn't been a ton of trades. And they've all been winners so far. Unfortunately, we really can't ascertain much about this, and the growth is also just not statistically significant as there has been so few trades. However, something to just keep an eye on. It does seem to trade relatively frequently. It has not traded since the 27th though, for some reason, and we would have to see more trades for this to really be of value. And here, I've actually taken the liberty of downloading the Goldenity AI and running a quick backtest. And I had some issues actually backtesting it. And maybe I discovered something a little bit fishy too. So as we can see here, there's all the parameters which he mentioned. And I first tried backtesting without the martingale method, just by using no martingale. And really, it barely even took any trades. It just took one or two trades. But then when I actually said use the martingale mechanism, it did appear to take some trades. But what I found was interesting is that when you actually run the backtest, it's not just trading XAU USD, which is the symbol which I have it loaded on and which I'm running the backtest on, as you guys can see here. And if you go in the inputs tab, I also said the symbol is XAU USD. It's actually running on the gold symbol too, but it's running on completely different price data. So if you can look up here on the M30 for gold versus the M30 for XAU USD, like there is a degree of correlation, but the actual data looks quite different. So I'm not quite sure what this is. And at the same time, it's not taking the trades on XAU USD. It's taking the trades on gold. And if you just look at the price, like the price here is what, 15.35, and if we go here, the price is 26,048. So I'm not quite sure what this refers to. Like, it's not gold futures data. It's not gold CFD data. It's not spot gold data. Maybe it's an ETF that tracks gold. Particularly, we are seeing large gaps here in price. So perhaps this is some sort of ETF which tracks the gold markets. But it's also kind of odd, right? Because why would you have some mystery data set in there with XAU USD? And if you actually look at the chart of XAU USD, which is what we should be trading on, it's not taking any trades. And all of these trades here are on this magical gold symbol. So when you're backtesting it, it doesn't necessarily appear to be backtesting in a reliable way. So I'm kind of uncertain as to why they're doing that. We can run a quick visual backtest again on the gold data here, or maybe I can just zoom in actually, it might be easier. And we can see that it is trading breakouts with an enormous stop loss, but this looks insanely high risk, right? Like it's opening a position, a breakout, it's letting it go all the way down and closing. So it is very much a breakout system, which she did effectively mention, but I'm not 100% sure as to why it's using these two different data sets. There's also another one up here, which is using TDS. I'm not quite sure that refers to, maybe it's a different data set. So the fact that they're not in the backtest, there's a bunch of embedded different data sets is really not a great sign, because maybe they're trying to use a different data source, which is perfectly fine, but they probably should give a little bit more clarity there, unless I'm missing something from the sales page. So kind of my conclusion so far is, yes, it is doing a breakout system based on what we can see. However, the fact that the backtest is being run on a completely different data set shows that we really can't use the backtest, because it's not trading what we want it to trade on. So if you were interested in this bot, I'd really recommend maybe chatting with the developer and kind of getting to the bottom of this and figuring out why it's running on this. Maybe she's trying to use multiple different assets to kind of develop a more sophisticated bot, which is phenomenal. And I'd love to hear if that's the case. But there could also be a little bit of manipulation going on here, so good to be careful. The actual strategy does appear to, generally speaking, be matching what she's saying in the sales page, like it is looking at swing highs and swing lows, so that's good. AI, I am not seeing the use of an AI model here. There's no file included. There's no API calls being asked for. However, perhaps they just hard-coded neural net in MQL5. The actual code behind a neural net is pretty straightforward to do. So perhaps that's what's going on. But from what I can see, there is a strategy here. There is a discernible strategy, but the backtests are pretty useless and the live signal is too short. So I'd be a bit cognizant. Watch for the live signal. Maybe it gets better. The developer seems like a smart person, so maybe we'll get some more interesting insights. But for now, I'd be a little bit hesitant. Hope you guys liked the review. Take care. Have a great day.